After I'd made my slim enclosed cube, a lot of people suggested that I should make a fuse cube version of that puzzle. Initially I was reluctant because it would just be a enclosed cube but slightly taller, but I decided to build it anyway. If you don't know what a fuse cube modification is, it's just basically gluing two 3x3 cores together so that it looks like two fused 3x3s. I guess that's why they call it a fuse cube. But this modification extends far beyond that puzzle. It's a very versatile modification and I've used it to build a lot of really cool stuff. Anything from a tall cylindrical barrel to a tall hex prism, a knife handle, and let's not forget that really big hex prism that I made a couple months ago. So it is a really cool modification, but there's not really much more to say about it than that. However, because I cut so deep on the enclosed cube that I made a couple videos ago, I realized that I exposed a lot more pieces that would make a fused version of this puzzle look a lot cooler. Now, because I'm kinda strapped for time, I'm not gonna sticker this puzzle up. In fact, I plan on using it in a later build, so this is gonna serve as the build part of that video. But I'll show the main part of the process here, which I've already covered many times before because this is just a fuse cube modification. After I'd finished cutting both of the puzzles, I disassembled them and filled all of the pieces. While I was at it, I fused the two cores of each of the puzzles together, and this is pretty much all you need to do for a fuse cube modification that isn't going to have any further modding done to it. But anyways, after I had filled all of the pieces and allowed them time to cure, I reassembled the puzzle and this is what it looked like. As you can see, it's a little rough around the edges and there are a couple of cavities that have been exposed that I'll have to fill later. But I took the puzzle over to my belt sander so I could get the rough dimension before filling any more of the pieces. While I was sanding, I was trying to make sure that I didn't go down as deep as I did for the slim enclosed cube. I had a really cool idea for the look of this puzzle, but it involved not going as deep. After I was finished sanding everything, this is what the puzzle looked like, and you can see there is this particular grid-like effect on the sides of the puzzle. I think this is really cool, and once I get some stickers on here, I think it's going to look fantastic, but before I do that, I do have to round over all of the edges of each of the pieces, so I broke out a nail file and some Scotch-Brite, and I've also been using a sanding block just because it really helps sand over some of the pieces, and I rounded over each of the pieces before reassembling the puzzle. Seeing this puzzle fully assembled really makes me happy that I decided to do it in the first place. I really like the effect of all of the different pieces on each of the faces, and I can't wait to sticker this puzzle up. But before I do that, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it, and because it's such a nice grip, I think it might make a really cool handle for something like a tool, maybe a screwdriver or something like that, but we'll see what happens in a later video. But for now, this puzzle shapeshifts crazily and it turns very well too, so I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.